I'm Jason Goliath.
And I'm Nicholas Goliath.
And this is a new podcast called The Happiness Economy, where we try and unpack, figure out, investigate, interrogate, I think holistically understand what is happiness even.
What is it to you? What is it to me? Is it different? Is it the same? What do you do to chase your happiness? Just chase it. We want to chat to people who we believe have found their happiness or are on the way to finding their happiness and find out what it is that makes them happy.
So, if you're happy, we're happy. The Happiness Economy with Nicholas and Jason Goliath. Tell her what you must. So that thing that you're speaking about, that the power of that thing applies to both.
To the fans, to the players.
No, but it applies to winning and losing.
Yeah.
If you have that attitude to losing, you're going to lose.
Which is then
100%.
I keep saying, at this point, whether they win or lose, I'm not at a point where, no, fuck, they're going to fuck it up. I'm not going to watch.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying Arsenal's football. The last 2 years, Arsenal has played the best football I have seen in my fucking life.
Maybe since Barcelona's glory days, but in your life is a stretch.
No, for me.
I'm just saying.
Arsenal,
For me.
It's just football.
For me.
That's what you said.
I also don't watch all the football. I used to watch sometimes. I used to follow Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
Right? So when Ronaldo was playing Man City sharp, I was a fan, whatever. Then he moved to Real Madrid. I would watch some Real Madrid games. And then maybe Portugal or whatever he was doing. But I wasn't watching all the Real Madrid or all the Barcelona just because Messi is in it. It wasn't, you know. So for me, in terms of, look at it this way, I canceled my DSTV subscription, one, because Arsenal was shit, Kaizer Chiefs was shit.
But this is what I'm saying.
And the news was
And
bullshit.
those guys are not involved in our table
The
orders.
news were propaganda.
Yeah.
This was the decision for me to cancel my DSTV 3-4 years ago. And then there was only the Grand Prix left. I use a friend's login details to stream.
Thank you to the friend.
But now, Hamilton, the whole Verstappen thing, I haven't watched the Grand Prix since. If I'm sitting at home or my wife and kids are home or watching TV or the thing is on, I'll sit and watch. But I've written off the Grand Prix.
So that's how I feel about, because I'm a Gunner and I hope Arsenal win this season. But I realized, why am I getting angry? These guys are getting paid to play and Arsenal does not feature in my debit orders. So I was getting too into it, too angry.
I went through that.
And so I'm glad that you're in a better space now.
I went through that. Because remember, after the Bayern last minute away goal, that was in the last 30 seconds. Or 15 seconds.
You see, the name of the podcast, David, is The Happiness Economy. And when we speak about Arsenal, it literally is the opposite of what we are trying to
Arsenal makes me happy, pa.
You're lying.
Arsenal makes me happy.
No, you're lying.
For this season.
And Arsenal is making me happy. And not because I'm sure we're going to win the league. Because
but that's how
I'm enjoying...
We don't have to win.
No.
The game is not about trophies.
No.
It's about enjoying the flow of play. That is an Arsenal...
That's not how they... No,
I'm a Gunner.
No player that goes to lose.
I am a Gunner.
There's no coach that walks on a pitch to lose a game.
I have
to win,
to say
to
that
lose a
for
league.
years. I think Arteta's...
And definitely not Arteta.
Let me just put it to you like this, then we'll start this podcast. Wenger and Mugabe, same animal. Came in, did unbelievable things, and then refused to leave. That's how I feel about Arsenal. Like Wenger, if Wenger left 5 years after the Invincibles, I think we would have had a different squad. I feel like now, because for me, Wenger was running a business, not a team. Wenger was playing to make it into the top 4, not to carry the trophy. And you want to watch your team win. And that's how it felt. It felt like Wenger was comfortable.
Yeah, that was him.
Yes. So now there's this new, but I haven't watched in the Arteta generation. I stopped. Wenger sent me away.
When last did you watch an Arsenal game?
Yes. When I say I stopped watching, Years.
Jeez, bro, you've
No, he's
missed
not
the
joking
best.
when he says he's
You
stopped.
have missed
No, dude,
some
it
of
makes
the
me-
best football ever.
It makes me too angry.
You were not there with those 5-0 before halftime. The stadium,
according to the trophy
the home
cabinet,
team
I've
followers
missed
start
nothing.
leaving the stadium before halftime.
According to the trophy cabinet, I've missed nothing.
You didn't see Chelsea get 4 goals in 18 minutes.
I read about
in the
it.
second half.
I got happy. I did get happy. Welcome to the Happiness Economy podcast. Today, great Arsenal supporter David Carr.
Only since 2005. Only that was
Yes.
when.
No,
What are you?
it
What
could
are
be
you, who are
long.
you
I don't
supporting
remember
before
when.
then?
Look, it could be longer. No, I've always been an Arsenal fan when it
Okay.
comes to
Yeah.
the Premier League.
Arsenal, Chiefs,
Look, I didn't go
and
to a
stand-up
private school.
comedy. This
I
man loves
I
heartbreak.
didn't go to a private school, so I wasn't born watching Premier League games.
For
at
sure.
all.
Yeah.
You know, I gave myself Premier
DSTV.
League games.
I got
I
you.
gave myself DSTV. I gave
And my
myself.
parents never even watched local soccer. Like that's why I don't
Yeah.
have. I don't know about the local teams.
Look, I inherited Kaizer Chiefs, the typical township.
The family
growing
thing,
up.
yeah.
There's that picture of Skaratwinter and Dr. Kumal and
Mhm.
that portrait that every
Yes,
house in a
yes.
township, you either had that one or Morocco Swallows or Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
And then you were born into the thing. You had no choice.
So I was born into although one or two uncles, cousins are Orlando Pirates, I've been a
But you
Kaizer
don't
Chiefs
speak to
fan.
them
I used
anymore.
to play the celebrity games for Kaizer Chiefs. We were very, very committed. They used to send us the shirts. We used to go to the games. Very, very committed to Kaizer Chiefs.
and
A
now,
friend of mine, Kabelo Ngakani, he was on Channel O.
yeah.
He used to coach the women's team. In fact, we must Google some pictures of Bonang back in the days. I think Kelly Kumar was, but Google the ladies.
Oh, and
Sonia
Bonang still had
Sidi,
that dust on.
you
I
must
remember
Google
Kelly want to
the.
be a goalkeeper.
You must Google the pictures of the Kaizer Chiefs ladies team or women's team, however many years ago.
that. And they
So
all
because
celebrities.
they would be the opening act for the main game at FNB Stadium or wherever the home
In a
team.
different.
I'd like to say again, nothing about what we're talking about makes me happy. I hope football makes you happy
Bruh.
in your heart. I hope whatever team you support brings you happiness. I'm just saying that for me personally, football has robbed me of joy. Me, I support Siyakolisi. End of my sporting. Yeah, done. I watch Springbok rugby. I recently started watching Bafana again, but only because Ronwen came through. I watch Bafana now.
You sound racist.
Only watch those 2 games. We run on
The second sentence
and then someone
sounds
told
like
you.
you sound racist. You know, Joey Rasdin used to have this theory of counting all the colored people that are doing well,
Yeah.
and then that would make him proud. But it sounds to me then it sounds like you won't support the other people because they are not colored. Or you don't care.
Siyakolisi is not colored.
Yeah, but that's what I'm going.
How
That's
is
where I'm
Sia-
going. That's why I said the second
No,
part.
that's why I threw
That's why I
Sia in
said-
first.
You see,
to deflect you.
You just
To
threw him.
deflect you. Ka, yeah. I mentioned Sia.
I was
not-
with Siv this past weekend in Cape Town because I'm mentioning it because I joke and say he's famous for getting a hug from Sia Kolisi at the World Cup.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering, yes,
Commercially, and
David Carr
premium,
did
that's-
help Minnie Lamini with her set at the roast. Yes, he did. Because I heard that joke on the roast.
Oh shit! I forgot. Okay.
Now we
So I
know.
mentioned that.
Yes, yes.
okay,
No, he put it in
okay.
there, and it was hilarious. Serving Yesi, famous for selfies with Sia Kolisi.
Oh,
So
I wanna change the subject, Dave, and get into the things so that we use the time that we have with you. The reason we do this is we bring on people who inspire us in some other way, but also people who we perceive to be happy based on what we see. Just as a setup, obviously the godfather of South African comedy, somebody that Nick and I watched for 10 years before we even took a chance of jumping on stage.
that's crazy.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. And to tell you, when I started watching you, Gold Golf 4 TDI.
So that
First
was
one
my
I saw in the
second car.
country.
That was my second car.
Yeah. First one I saw in the country, parked outside the underground, and I was like, whose car is this? And they were like, it's David
At
Carr's.
Cool Runnings.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That's how long ago I honestly started watching you. Then cut to 2011, Nicholas and I start comedy. You are but still the greatest thing to happen to stand-up comedy. Then David used to do this thing where you'd be standing with Kagiso Lediga, then maybe I'd met Kagiso the night before, and I'd go and greet, and Kags, very lovely man, would say, hey, David, do you know Jason Goliath? Then David, for 5 weeks in a row, I'm not exaggerating, every single time somebody introduced me to him, said, "Hey, I'm David Carr. Nice to meet you." Looked me in my eye 5 weeks in a row. Do you know how embarrassing it is as a grown man? I was 30 at the time. As a 30-year-old man, for somebody pretend like they've never met you, they've never acknowledged you. And I had this weird feeling about, why is this guy treating me like this? And my first perception of you could not have been more wrong.
So it wasn't pretending.
I was just gonna say now.
No,
Yes.
My brain, my mind, my life, I live it in compartments.
Yeah.
I don't keep information I don't need
Same.
at the time.
So I know that now.
So if I had seen you kill on
Yes.
stage and I decided, okay, I'm going to book this guy for Black Song, I would have remembered you from that.
And so the second you watched me play and
Yeah.
you thought I was funny, you never forgot my
Yeah.
name again. And you
So-
always made me feel...
Because you can imagine how many people I would have
Absolutely.
to remember every single
Yeah, I was gonna
show,
say, now
every
you're in
single
that
time,
space.
that are not
Absolutely.
in my interest. You were there because you know Kagiso, or you came to three of
100%. And I was
Yeah.
wanting to
So
know
that's
both
none
of
of
you.
my business, right?
Fully.
So I compartmentalize everything I do. My wife can tell me stuff, this, kids, sports, yada, 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 until the day I need.
I don't know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if she's
Yes.
telling me, you need to pay gymnastics, you need to think,
Yeah.
or she just sends me an invoice.
And you're like, what is this?
No, I don't even reply. If this thing had to be paid by this date,
Yeah.
and then she comes and says, you should have paid this by this date, or you have to have paid gymnastics on this date because there's a tournament, then I go into that invoice or I tell her, open it, what are the details, give me the
Yes,
amount.
give me the
I
amount and
I
the
start
banking
doing
details.
the payment. Yeah. So it's how I try and simplify my life.
I have a word for it. I treat my life like matric exams.
You study for what you're
where
writing.
You study, but the second you
Tomorrow,
finish
yeah.
writing, purge, delete all of that
Yeah,
information,
yeah.
delete names, delete faces. But I brought that up to go, I think that we exist in a time where people prejudge you based on initial interactions or small interactions and really have no idea what you're about, because I can now on record say that years later, you are one of the loveliest humans I've ever met. One of the kindest, one of the, like, when people ask me about you, I say, you know what's weird about David Carr? David Carr, 25 years plus deep, has done so many things for black comedy, not only in South Africa, but on the continent and globally, I'm sure to your credit. But I sincerely, you make me feel like if I phoned you at 2:00 in the morning, you'd take my call and come and help me. That's how you make me feel.
Even if we hadn't spoken in months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably do. Yeah.
There was a change though.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there was David in 2011, then maybe 2014 to even up to 2018, there was a lot of stuff happening in the industry, a lot of stuff happening with you. Then I don't know what COVID gave you, but I feel like you're the best version of you that has ever existed right now.
Yeah. Pretty much.
What happened?
So COVID did two things. So I used to be told I must stay at home. So if you go to a medium or you go to a traditional healer, or they'll just keep saying they want you to stay home, or your ancestors want you to stay
Leave
home.
the
They
streets.
want you to stay home. And I'm like, but I need to go work. Like, there's a gig there that's paying this much.
Yeah.
And how can I stay home? Right. And they would say, but you don't know what's coming to you at home. It could be bigger than this gig that
Yeah.
you running to. But generally,
Hard.
streets, clubs, yada yada, are already, same thing.
Yeah.
Like you say, Kagiso would say, this is this. I was also, what gig, where, who, why must I go? Okay, what launch? What? Okay, another premiere. Okay, fine, I'll go. So I was already cutting down socially on the entertainment side.
Yeah.
I did what I had to do. I go where I have to go.
Yes.
Right. So 2019, Kweku Mandela asked me to do, well, Charlize Theron asked Kweku. I performed at Charlize Theron's CTAOP gig, a charity organization in New York. This is November. Awesome gig, kill it. I meet Jay Roach because they had just done Bombshell at the time. He's like, dude, you're hilarious. Drew Barrymore was at the gig, all these people. Then I get an Asian manager, lawyer in New York after this.
Which is the way you've got to do it there. You need all of those things.
They got to see what it is.
Yeah.
Then I come back home and I've got a Black Songly 2020 April. So I decide, okay, let me do the gig. It's always the big ones, Joburg, blah, blah, blah. After this, I'm going to start commuting between New York and South Africa. So that was my plan, right?
Yeah.
Which then 3 weeks before the show, COVID, we go into lockdown, and then the rest is history.
Yes.
Stay home for 2 years of not working, no gigs, no money, blah, blah, blah. But I used to be away from my house or from home, from my wife, kid or kids, depending on at what period, for at least 3 months a year. So religiously, 6-7 years in a row. Cannes Film Festival, 2 weeks. Durban Film Festival, 2 weeks. My daughter was born 18th July.
Yeah.
She was born, I held her, I got on a plane, I went to the Durban Film Festival. Her birthday, I wake up, happy birthday, baby. I get on a plane, I will go to the Durban Film Festival. So, Durban Film Fest, 2 weeks. Cannes, 2 weeks. American Film Market, 2 weeks. Toronto Film Market, 2 weeks. Then I still have gigs outside Joburg overnight. So, at least 3 months a year.
So, and you're talking about calendar months of not sleeping at home. Yeah. So almost 100 days a year.
Spread out.
You are not sleeping at home.
So 2/3 of my life.
Yeah.
I was not at home. So then 2018, my wife and I had our last born. And I've told the story. I won't repeat the story how he was born. So COVID comes, 2020. He's 2. The last born is 2 years old. The boy is 11 or 12. Aliyah is 6 or 7. She's 11 now. So when my son was born in 2018, I used to take a picture of him every day.
Yeah.
For at least 3 months. Every day.
Yeah.
I took pictures of him, right? And then the 2 years in COVID, I saw from when he was 2 in COVID to even before that, to now when he was almost 4 out of COVID. I saw him every day. I saw my kids every day. I saw my wife every day. I saw in my last born things that I have no memory whatsoever about my first 2 born. So I realized their first 2 years or 2 to 4 years of their lives, I have zero memory because I wasn't there. I was there, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I shot, when we were shooting Blitz Patrol Blitz Patrol must have been 10 years out last year. So let's say 2013.
Yeah.
I was on set 31 out of 32 days of the shoot. My wife had a miscarriage and I was shooting a scene with Joey's stunt double and I couldn't leave and my wife drove herself to hospital. Jesus. Before we had our second born. So this was after our first born. But I had to, it's production, it cost millions.
No,
I decided,
it's hard.
Guys,
it's hard.
screw this,
understand how it works.
I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife drove us. The scene, I think about it every time I watch Blitz Patrol. The scene where we're underground parking and we're about to come out and we drive into the guy who cleans.
Yes.
That scene, when we were shooting that scene, Joey was offset that day. I was with Joey's stunt double because he was I don't remember if I was driving or if he was driving. But so now Joey's not on set. I'm the other lead that's working. There's a stunt double.
Yeah.
So I can't leave. Then there's no shoot, It's not like my stunt double can take over or Joey can take over and I have a stunt double. So by that time, during COVID, I realized that I have a gap of almost 2 years where I haven't got a memory of not much, of what my kids were like. So I don't know what my 15-year-old boy now was like when he was 2, 3, 4. I don't know what my daughter Aliyah was like when she was 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah. So look, I've got kids.
So going back quickly to wrap it up.
No, take your time.
Quickly to wrap it up. Going back to it's COVID, no gigs. And then I'm in the newspapers. Apparently, my house is being repossessed or
I
auctioned.
watched you do
whatever.
sets about it. Hilarious.
Yeah, so now
Yeah.
I do a set about it. So zero money in terms of gigs. We can't do a gig. It's illegal. We
Yeah.
get arrested.
Our money stopped.
Yeah.
Immediately
Everything.
stopped.
18 months straight, 18 months to 2 years. A bit of social media work here and there. Not much.
Peace jobs.
Yeah. So then going back to stay home. So COVID forced me to stay home. And I then went through whatever it was that I was required to stay home for all those years ago. This is where now COVID for me becomes a flip side. That actually, with all the loss and all the money I lost and everything that came with it, I actually got something out of it. I was forced to stay home. So the noise, you don't hear what... we were talking about the universe and Arsenal and I've become a bit more spiritual maybe, or I've learned a lot more about how the universe works.
Yes.
So whether it's ideas or gigs or things, those things come to you. They're coming from the universe, right?
Yes.
Whether it's God and ancestors or whatever.
Whatever makes you
deem
comfortable,
the
yeah.
universe. So some of these things I was missing because I never had a moment of I'm calm. I never meditated. I never said, today I'm not working, guys.
Yes.
Every Monday for 2 hours, I don't work. I don't take calls. I'm just going to listen to myself. Or I never had those things. So let me tell you what's crazy. Sorry, Nick, we'll come to you now, right? Do you know what I plan to do this year?
Tell me.
So when I turned 36, 10 years ago, I recorded a show in Soweto where you and Donovan were there, Mashabela, Skumba. I recorded David Gao more jokes.
Yes.
Never released it. The footage has never been released. The one-man show, the behind-the-scenes directed by Mara Tumonsu, nothing has been released from that. I sent a proposal to one of the streamers. What I was going to do was, I'm going to interview you guys again. All the comedians that showed up that day, because it was my birthday.
Yes.
All the comedians that showed up that day, I'm going to show you what you said 10 years ago. But I'm first going to talk to you about me. It's my birthday. I turned 46 this year. Right? Then I'm going to show you what you said 10 years ago. And I'm going to put that together in another documentary about my birthday and turning 46.
Yes.
And then release some of that material from 10 years
From
ago.
then.
Yeah. So I'll combine it and make it like a feature documentary or whatever. So, but the reason I never released the special was because I didn't think it was good enough. And that's me. I've sent it to Cax. He's watched it. He's like, hey, man, this is dope.
Put it out.
People have watched it. Yo, bruh, this is dope. I'm like, But these are all the things, again, that I said to you, I've learned, or again, going back to whatever you put out in the universe. So if I sit and go, I don't like this thing, I'm not going to release it.
Yeah.
I've made that decision all on my own.
100%.
Not the audience.
In isolation. And you've decided on their behalf also.
Yes, and I've decided on behalf of the audience or the viewers as well. And those are some of the mistakes that I've learned, or I've learned from. That the only thing I'm in control of is get on stage, perform, record the show, and take it out. Whether one person watches or 1 million or 100,000 people tweet and say they hate it or one person likes it.
Doesn't matter.
It's not in my control. It's not even that it doesn't matter. It's not in my control. Maybe where you think I'm a better version of David Gao is I've stopped trying to control things that I can't control.
So how does this
it's less stress.
How does this fit into the David that once told me it's not okay to die? One of the,
on stage.
So as a mentor, you've been a gift. on stage.
Yeah,
On
someone is
stage.
laughing because they
Yeah,
don't
'cause-
understand.
no, 'cause they know I
Comedians,
could
when you
die at
don't
any
perform well on stage, you are dying.
You're dying, yeah.
It's
So
called
so
dying.
having a bad show, and you've given me some beautiful advice over the years, and you've always been there for me whenever I've had
Yeah.
questions. And one of the things you said to me was, don't take this thing for granted. Whether there's 6 people or 6,000 people,
Yeah.
give your best. And you weren't saying, even then I was old enough and wise enough to know that you weren't saying you must never ever die, because comedy doesn't work like that. But what you were saying is respect the audience enough to always try to destroy. So put your newer stuff in the middle, do your vetted stuff at the beginning and at the end, and rather try stuff in the beginning, but don't make people pay for a ticket to watch you try stuff and bomb.
So I call it the emergency joke.
Yeah. Yes.
Even if you die for 9 minutes
Yeah.
and you are doing 10 minutes, in the last minute, at some point in your career, if you're a professional comedian, there is a joke you can tell
Yes.
anywhere,
Guarantee.
anytime, to any audience.
Break glass in case of
And-
emergency.
You must always have that joke. Some people have tons, some of us have tons of those, but there's always that one joke that you know. Soon as they've laughed, get off stage, leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say thank you very much.
Yes.
Don't use it as a
Yes,
boost
Chris
to keep
Forrest.
going.
So the
Yes.
biggest mistake comedians make when they're supposed to leave on stage,
Yeah.
and then they get a big laugh. They
Then
think
they
it's a
want
call
more.
for them to stay somewhere.
No.
And then they start
No.
then they start going down again. And that's people don't know this, People think Kim Engelbrecht died at Black Song. I think
Yes.
this was 2007.
Yes.
Kim killed. Kim did the first Black Song.
Yeah.
She was on the lineup. The first 2004 Black Song.
Mhm.
Kim Engelbrecht was on the lineup. Killed. I think 2005 Empress Palace. Maybe Trevor and Eugene's first Black Song as well.
Yeah.
Either 2005 or 2007. Kim does a set, kills. Comes to the end of her time that she has on stage. Goes over her time. So I can show you footage
And then
video
dies.
of Kim killing at Black Songly. Not only does she go over time, two things. She does a joke about Bastana Kumalo and Romeo Kumalo. I don't remember the joke.
Yeah.
The audience starts going, Then she does a joke about TK. After TK mysteriously died in a hotel room.
Yes,
and
yes,
Mandoza
yes,
and
yes,
them
yes,
were
yes, yes,
in
yes,
the
yes,
mix.
yes.
Then she tells a joke about
And the
TK.
audience was like,
Fresh. Her body was
too
still warm.
soon. It's too soon.
I think her body was still warm. Then the audience booed her. But Kim was never a bad stand-up. Kim was funny. Kim came from being the only woman on
It
the
used
Pure
to roll with
Manati
all the
show.
comics. Yeah.
She was the only female cast member on the Pure Manati show because she was hilarious. She was killing it.
And
So timing,
no, but so the point is, and for context, Kim has not performed comedy again since
I remember
that show.
she hosted,
Did
she emceed Mind the Gap. Roddy did a
Yeah.
show called Mind the Gap in Cape Town. a couple of
After
years
that,
ago.
the-
No,
the-
yeah. Now when she was,
Yeah.
But now Kim is,
Yeah, no, Kim is
Kim is in
dollarized.
flesh,
Well,
bruh.
no.
Kim is dollarized now.
Kim is in flesh. Kim has got her own action figure.
Yes, no, we know.
So,
We know very
before
well. I
we,
watched
before we
The
talk
Flash.
about Kim's action
No,
figure,
no.
you were talking about the 3 months away from the family and things you've seen
Yeah,
in the time that
almost
you
10
with
years.
your newborn, your last born.
Yeah.
And my question then is, in that time before the last born, in that time that you were away, that you were 3 months away from the house,
Yeah.
were you in a happy space, or is it a thing that you knew it wasn't where you were supposed to be? Because that
No, I
time
wasn't.
led you to where you are now, to the
I
person
wasn't
that
paying.
you're on.
So what I learned later,
Mm.
I wasn't paying attention back then. So I wasn't paying attention to those moments. I remember turning 36. I don't remember turning 39. I don't know what happened when I was turning 38. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't enjoying the cars I've driven.
Yo, bro, I can
I
relate.
drove them because I can, but
Yes.
I wasn't.
There was no.
I drove them because I have to go from A to B.
Mm.
I never said, let me take this car out for a drive.
Yeah.
Or let me take this route or Taniqua Pass, whatever, because I've got this car.
Is that a curse of the novelty of this industry? Is it a curse of maybe? So I often say,
I was the blueprint. For me, that's the only thing. Because I was my own blueprint.
Okay.
So everyone started doing things because I was doing
100%.
them. And I had no one that I was looking at doing things.
Yes, you weren't
I was
chasing,
just
you were
doing
leading.
things. Yeah. I was doing things because I can.
So then, then does that ruin the novelty of things? Does that take away the excitement? Because I always say, I look at some of my friends that work a 9 to 5, and I feel like I will experience more things in a year than they will in their lives.
Yeah.
And it's it's not a boast, it's just the nature of what we do, our jobs. And then does that surely not desensitize you? Do you not get to a point where you don't appreciate things the way you're supposed to, in inverted commas?
It's not that you don't appreciate them. For me personally, it's not that I didn't appreciate them. I didn't pay attention to appreciate them at the time when I had them. So it's like someone Instagramming a picture in a private jet.
Yeah.
Jason, I had my career at least 11 years without social media.
Yes, the good old days.
So for me to Instagram, I'm in a jet today. It's like I should have booked a photographer 10 years ago, 7 years ago, and say to them, no, I'm in a jet. Come take a picture of me. And then I've taken a picture because I'm in a jet. So you can imagine every single time I had to do that and book a photographer just to come and say, I need you to capture this moment because I might need it for Instagram 10 years from now. But I didn't know we're going to get to a point where people will rent an aircraft just to take pictures.
They will rent a room that has a window like an aircraft.
That's not going to take off.
We spoke about this on different episodes where we live in a time where what you're doing is less important. We were groomed in a time where the pictures weren't important. How did you do on stage was important.
Yeah.
Now we live in a time of
you can die on stage and then we see a picture of you acting like you killed this gig.
But how does that make you feel?
So for me, that's where I'm unplugging more and more and more. And that's where maybe I'm finding some happiness because I'm not going along. I'm not playing along. I'm not interested. I'm choosing what I want to do to keep my happiness. And I'm limiting the chances of me becoming unhappy. So I don't have to Instagram everything I do or take a picture of.
I want to defend you and say that this isn't just COVID. I think COVID helped you a lot.
No, it's not just.
But your mindset from before COVID, I remember being in Montreal with you and just seeing the way you carried yourself in Montreal compared to the rest of the South African acts. Seeing the way you adopted information and the way you were. Because I think the last time we were in Montreal, you looked at me in my eyes when you told me, no, I think I'm just going to go to New York for 3 months or 6 weeks or whatever. I'm just going to see. I'm just gonna, and it was already, you'd made a decision. So is the decision then to pay attention to what's important? Is the decision to be more present? What is the decision? How do we articulate the decision?
It's none of us, a lot of people don't pay attention. A lot of people listen to noise. So I'm trying to find another example. Let's say the Comics Choice Awards.
Yeah.
I've been doing stand-up now for 25 years, going 26 in October, right? The awards are 11 years old.
Yes.
So I think I can easily say I would have given myself every award, every category
100%.
for the first 10, 11 years.
100%.
Before these awards.
Best comic of the year, best one-man show.
I could have given myself all those awards.
All of them, yes.
So
multiple times.
Yeah. So then already I know how to treat awards, winning or losing. They don't define me.
Yes.
Right? Because they're a concept. Awards are a concept.
And perspective, yeah.
Okay. So then the difference becomes winning or not winning awards. The reason I was in the show is based on a relationship, nothing else. It's the organizer. Okay, who are you? Okay, you're not doing the awards.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm available. Yeah, the money is okay. Okay, fine, I'll do the thing.
100%.
It's got nothing to do with, I want to be at the awards. I need to be on that stage. And I must be in the audience or I must walk the red carpet.
So what you're saying is the times we saw you at the awards, it's because you had relationships with those that were producing the awards, and they
I
asked you
did
to be
the
part
awards
of it.
because
They
there
made
was
you
John
an offer.
Fesma's concept.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not because they
You agree with awards.
Yeah. Not because they're gonna change my life, whether I win or lose. And this is where I try and remind people. Mpo Pops lost season 2 of So You Think You're Funny.
Yes.
But I made a decision that Pops was not ready.
Yeah.
Because Pops on the day, we took all the contestants, we put them in a hotel, and then we shoot the show over however long. On the last day, when you keep, eliminating others are staying. Mpo Pops, Celeste, Anne Hesh, who won season 2, when they were the remaining contestant, Mpo Pops left the what do you call the hotel,
The bubble.
The green
The
room,
bubble.
the safety space.
Mpo Pops left the bubble to go home to look for a jacket he's gonna wear in the final episode.
So already overconfident.
Not even that. He was focused on what he's gonna wear and look like.
Not on the jokes. Not on what he's there for. Because it doesn't matter what you look
And
like.
I said, this one is not ready for this thing.
I hate you for that. I hate that you know
And
things
Anne
beyond your
Hesh.
years. I hate that you're right.
And Hesh was so...
On it.
Because you remember, you win, you must come up with another set.
Yeah.
You win, you
Yeah.
must come up with another set. Then that's when Anne Hesh just...
So instead of worried about
She
jackets,
cropped with Pops and Celeste. That's why they came second and third, Pops and Celeste. Because on an SABC One Zulu Nguni speaking show,
Mhm.
an English-speaking comedian showed them flames.
English-speaking white female
white
comedian.
female showed them flames. On a channel where we sat and we went, how do we announce this white girl is the winner on an SABC One
That is fascinating.
black?
Do you know that I don't know that story?
So you
I know,
Yeah, I also didn't
I know how many people come up. I mean, Tips often speaks about
So-
losing. I think Tips lost to Nene.
Tips lost season 1. Tips was in season 1. Sfiso won it. You know the story that I made Sfiso go away because he tried to perform in English.
No.
Sfiso's first audition for So You Think You're Funny, he tried to perform in English. I told him, go and rework your material and come back again. And then he went to win the season.
And
I told him to come back and perform as he wants to.
that show.
But he basically came in, audition, died trying to perform in English.
I'm going to say
at the
something
time.
now. That show produced more
No, everyone.
solid comedians than almost anything else. In fact, between that show and the Pio Monate show, you and Kags, I think you're responsible for more successful comedians in this country than anybody else can make a list of that are currently still successful.
You guys should say those things. I won't say them.
No, I'm saying them right now.
Yeah.
And that's why it annoys me. So one thing that you're going to learn about David Carr is don't argue with him too much. Even if you don't understand. If you think he's wrong and you think he's being whatever and you want to question, when you ask him questions, you are going to get schooled in a way that is going to frustrate you. That is going to frustrate you. I came to you with a problem last year. We did the Bioscope, which just won best, being a comedy choice, best club gig in the country. The Bioscope.
Against Black Song.
It
won over Black Song.
every Sunday.
Because it's weekly. Blacks only is not.
No, and also everybody can vote, not only blacks.
Where all the colors voted for Bioscope.
I wish
All the
I knew
colored-
it.
So-
comedians.
And it was one of the most profound moments of my year last year. I remember seeing you after a while. I hadn't seen you in a couple of months. Watching you arrive, everybody gets excited when you arrive. I mean, when I say I'm talking about all the new young comedians. You know, the legend is here. You do your thing, and off stage, I'm standing off stage having a beer, and I say to you, "Hey, Uncle Dave, can I ask you a question?" And as you always do, whether you're in a rush or not, you make time. And I say to you, I'm half, literally. You celebrating 26 years. I'm celebrating 13 years. So half the time that you've spent on stage,
Yeah.
I have. And therefore, you are, my elder. And I go,
Yeah.
and I remember my question to you was, Dave, I'm struggling because I feel like all my dreams have come true.
Yeah.
I feel like, because when I started, my vision board was Joey Rasdeen. I was like, I want to be, that's who I want to be. Like, I knew Joey from off stage, and seeing what Joey did, it was my wildest dreams, was to be able to do the things that Joey's doing.
Yeah.
13 years later, I'm doing the things that Joey's doing. And I was like, okay, so now all my dreams have come true. What now? Like, I'm struggling to find inspiration. I'm struggling to find this passion and the hunger. And I was known for that show up hunger. You know what I mean? So many people that said, you always work this hard. And all of a sudden, I don't have, feel like I don't have it in me to go full throttle. And I say to you, hey, I watch you, and you still, when you're on stage, I feel it on you. And you said something so profound to me. You said, change your circle. You gave me one sentence. Change your circle. Hang out with different people, because obviously the people you're currently hanging out with are not inspiring you. But if you stop being curious, if you stop being inspired, think about the people that you're socializing with and spending a lot of time with. You must spend time with people who inspire you. You say they don't have to be comedians.
You're the Thanos now in the group.
You say they don't have to be comedians. They can be whatever.
No,
that's it.
Definitely shouldn't be comedians.
You are the Thanos of the group. Please unpack that for me, because that piece of advice changed my life last year. It was exactly what I needed to hear, to put into context. It wasn't bullshit. You spoke from a place of experience. You weren't trying to lecture me. But that simple advice of how can you be looking for inspiration when you spend your days not being inspired?
You know, since I turned 40 and outside of COVID, my last 5 birthdays I've spent with two guys own construction companies. Another one is a water engineer. Another one is an engineer. My best friend's a mechanical engineer by profession. Someone else who works for a construction company or infrastructure. I haven't spent any of them with celebrities or my friends that are celebrities or comedians.
Industry people.
Yeah. And it's some of the best dinners I've had in my life. Like 7 people, 6, 7 people. And every year I woke up, there was nothing planned. I was not going anywhere. But for whatever reason, we ended up with a dinner. Last year, crazy enough, Mini was there. Mini was there. And the cow who owns Drip.
Yeah.
Last year's one was a movie. But same story, I'd wake up and my wife would say, you have nice friends. And I'd say to her, not to say change your friends, but it's your circle of friends that you have. Because my friends decided they're going to have dinner or they're going to throw a dinner for me. I didn't ask for it. I didn't pay for it. They took care of it. But it was their decision. One of it, they spoke to my best friend Enoch, and behind the scenes, maneuvered there. And we supposedly had a meeting with someone, and then I show up and there's this setup, right? Some with 3 or 4 people, same. Nothing to do with entertainment industry. But the kindness of those people, the type of human beings that they are, and also how they don't want to be known and how they remain, this is who I am. Yes, I've got this and that. They take their kids to sports, or they travel to go watch their kids do sports. They take their kids on holidays. There's a nice balance in life, right? Which I think I've tried to have and try to do. I mean, if I'm waking up in Joburg, I'm taking my kids to school.
Yeah.
Gymnastics, soccer. And then I have a gig, If I have a gig I need to promote and push, I have a gig I need to promote and push. If I need to go do the Mass Singer, I'm doing the Mass Singer. I come and go. So I come and go in the entertainment industry, not the other way around. Because the entertainment industry is made up. We know that. We know this is made up.
Yes.
We are the closest to anything honest in the industry. So rappers, Amo will tell you he won't rap about things he doesn't have.
Yes.
But rappers would rap about cars they don't have, houses they don't own, blah, 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 blah.
They'd rent the cars for the videos.
Television it's an escape thing. Some people, their characters follow them into real life.
Yes.
So it's harder to live in real life than the life that they've created for themselves, because that's unsustainable. And it's also dependent on other people sustaining them or making it sustainable for them.
So their success is dependent on other people.
On other people a lot.
And not so much in their hands.
Not really. So they need makeup artists, they need
Yes.
clothes designers. So if there's a Metro FM awards this weekend, you don't have a dress, someone is not making you a dress.
You feel like you can't go.
Someone is not doing your makeup, or they don't want you to travel with more than 2-3 people. You're just a guest, you're not presenting, you're not. Now it's someone, you must find a beat face person in Nelspruit, or you must do your own makeup. You must dress yourself. But I've been to 3 summers in my life because I don't go to events where I'm not working.
I haven't been to any summers. Book me.
The one where I had to announce the Hofmeyer, the one where I was working, I was performing during the commercials.
Yes.
So there's small pockets of decisions that I've taken that I make and that I try and live by. But I also influenced by the people around. I'll play golf, and then someone afterwards will go maybe to a restaurant for a drink. And then someone will come and ask for a picture, and my golfing guys will be like, "Oh yeah, by the way." That's where I am. It feels good.
It looks good on you.
It feels good.
It looks good on you.
There's no pressure. There's no stress. There's no, oh my God, what am I going to wear tonight? I have this thing that
It's a real life thing. I feel
yes,
like that's
I'm more
where
worried
real
about
joy
what my
is.
kids are going to wear, what my daughter has to buy for the gymnastics because she needs another leotard, whatever thing. My son needs another pair of soccer boots. So imagine if my son needs a new pair of soccer boots because his feet keep growing. But I also want shoes for the Comics Choice Awards.
It doesn't work.
And now we're choosing who's going to get the shoes.
I earn the money, so I get to choose. No.
Firstly, my friend, I want to tell you that I'm so happy for you. And I think my happiness comes in 2 parts. Number one, I'm happy that...
My wife, by the way, is a root of all this.
No, and that's what I was going to say.
Before I forget.
No, I can see. Because
how
not only...
How is she the root?
She's a base, she's a foundation, she created a space where I can go and do whatever I want, whenever I want. Or go and try whatever I want, whenever I want. She'll always be there. So she's the head office. She's a proper head office.
Yeah.
You can be sent to the Mhlanga branch and then you're like, I can't do it. Then you go back to head office.
Yeah.
Then you're also now sent to Swakopmund and then you're like,
you come back to head office.
And you come back to head office. And then at some point you're like, you know what, I'll work from head office and then everything I'll do remotely. But if I do decide, you know what, let me go to New York for 6 months or 12 months or 2 years, she'll still be there.
And also she'll allow and make it as possible for you as possible.
Yeah. Then you decide if you want to move head office to where you are.
Yes.
If it's going to make sense. Or everyone can come visit, or you come visit where you are, you go back to head office. So there is... my life has changed completely compared to if I didn't have my wife, dude. I met my wife, I had a Discovery 3. I was building my house in Kyalami. I had a Golf 4 6-speed red eye.
The red eye, if you know,
the red
you
eye
know.
after the Gold.
If you know, you know.
And 2 weeks after I met her, I traded it in for a 330 CI, the BM.
I remember that car as well, E46. Yeah.
So the timing where I met my wife, my life was I was either going to become a Kalawa Jasmine studio, where Kwela Tebzas and them are going to be living in my house, driving my cars, and we hanging out. And there's those cigarette parties at the time. And every Sunday we used to do convoys from the Val.
But that's
back
a
to
choice,
Joburg,
though.
Driving 160 kilometers in a convoy of many cars.
That's a choice of, because it's easy to choose that life.
No, but for me,
That's
when
what
I
I'm
met
saying.
her, I knew I want nothing else.
You chose
nothing
peace.
More. I knew
in your
that,
life.
okay, I'm parking here.
It shows. Like it shows when I see the two of you together, because the two of you together now are the same as the two of you together then your energy together, I can't explain
I
it.
think we've also grown. The
You have
crazy
to.
part. The crazy part is, yes, I love this chick, bruh. And so we met, dated for a year, proposed. She planned our wedding for about a year. Then we got married. So 16 years married, 18 years together. Right. So then we found out along the way.
Yeah.
That her name, a Greek name, Thalia,
Mhm.
is the goddess of comedy. It's the muse of comedy. But we didn't know this when we met.
Come on.
I'm telling you, it's deep.
Come on.
So,
no, there's soulmate vibes.
but simple decision. I met this woman and I decided I don't want to meet any more women. Basically, that's why I got married when I got married. I was 29, she was 24.
It's I think people who don't understand what your life was like at 29 might not appreciate what a big deal that is to during that noise.
They must go and
Make
look
it-
for
make
my
a
foot.
decision.
My wedding was on top billing. They must put it in that
No,
context.
it's no, it was so that was the first thing is I see that happiness, and the second thing that I'm so happy about is I feel like we're about to experience season 2 of David Carl. I can't explain it better than that.
If you see me on stage now, bruh,
Mm.
yes, don't understand. Dude.
What is it?
I can easily record 2 new one-man shows. Easily. In one day, in fact. I'll record 2 new one-man specials. And then I'll still have some material to continue doing live shows and working on. And it's like being born again, if you want to put it that way. So it's season 2 in a way.
I like that.
To some extent. And people have never understood. So when people come, when you say to me, you think you've achieved everything, I think, Jason, I'm maybe at 30% of
That's why I came
of
to you.
what I can do
Because
in my life. I'm maybe at 30%. I still think I'm exaggerating.
So, and that just means you still got 70% on the clock. You still got 70% to go.
Yeah. The only difference would be if that 10 to 30% took me 25 years.
Yeah.
The next 10 years, I can maybe do another 40%,
Yes.
50%. And then when I'm 60, I'll start doing another 10% of what I'm capable of doing.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. So whatever people think I've achieved, for me personally, I went to Nairobi, Kenya, where I was doing workshops with comedians in Nairobi because they were asking me, how do they become professionals? How do they turn their careers into full time?
Yeah.
But I didn't know this. I didn't pay attention. I didn't ever think there's comedians in Africa that are looking at me like,
Yes.
yo, how do I become a full-time comedian?
How do I become David Carl?
I never paid attention to it. It's been there. There's been the odd, can you come to this country? Can you come here? Yeah, but can you pay me this? Can you do this? And once you park all those things and you come to the root of, okay, why am I here? What is it that I want to do? You know, the funniest for me was when people say, people complain about your jokes, or the only complaints I've ever had in my 25 years is I'll meet Zimbabwean people who didn't like my Zimbabwean jokes. So about the economy, about this, that.
Yeah.
So I've always known I'll probably never go to Zim, especially when Mugabe was still there. Then Conrad has been, Tumi Marake has been, a couple of guys, you've been to do a show.
While Mugabe was there.
So I once got a call where you got a policeman with an AK-47 outside your waiting for you to say something.
Yes, please say something about the
So you can imagine for me, right? So I get a call from a promoter. Hey man, Inka, I want to bring you to Zim. I'm like, sure, are you sure? Yeah, no, people, Inka, Tumi Marake has been. I'm like, you've seen my material. He says, yeah. And you still want to book me? And he said, yeah, okay, ish. Now that you mention it, I had this conversation with the promoter from Zim.
Hey, also you're gonna do your own.
Been to Nigeria, many shows with Basket Mouth. So for me, again, if you said to me, look, we can look at the money. If we put money aside, if you said to me, Dave, are we doing a tour of the States? the UK, or Africa. We're going to Africa. We're going to Tanzania. We're going to Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda. We're going to Ghana.
Yeah.
Nigeria. And then we need to find, Botswana, Lesotho, definitely Swaziland.
Yeah, Zambia. We were
Zambia.
in Zambia. I can't wait to go back.
For me, right now, I'm yearning for for me, that's the next trip I need to take.
What do I
That's
need
the
to
next
do
journey.
to make you lock it in and then we go?
We find venues, we work at everything backwards. So we find a venue. Look, I know every local.
Is
guy
that a yes?
or
No, me, I've
community.
got people who can phone and find
Oh, yeah,
venues.
no.
Done.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So I work backwards.
David and the Goliaths Tour Africa. I've
So
said the name
dates-
here first. David
and Goliath.
and the Goliaths Tour Africa. Done.
That's a nice title, though.
Yes.
And it's a Bible, it's a biblical, it's
Done.
written, it's done.
Done.
It's written, it's there. So you've got, when I started doing stand-up 25 years ago, I think Basket Mouth might be the same or less even.
A little bit less, I'm sure. But a similar era.
Yeah. The Kenya guy who's a DJ as well. I forget him, man.
I also.
Like
I
friends
know.
of mine would
I know.
call me from Nairobi, TV producer, friend of mine. Yeah, talk to Churchill. Talk
Yes.
to Churchill. So I've always known or met the first comedians in each of the African countries where there's a comedy scene.
Yeah.
Were similar to me when I was starting out. So, but some of them I never met, but we had relationships for more than 10 years. We would speak on the phone, or once or twice they would come to South Africa maybe. And Basket Mouth was obviously, I first brought Basket Mouth to South Africa, and then we started going to Nigeria. And then, so Ghana now, there's a guy as well that I know now. You go to Tanzania, they just built their first 100-seater comedy club, their first ever. They just started doing comedy 2-3 years ago, 5 years ago. In Tanzania.
To give everyone context, we don't have a 100-seater comedy club. We have no comedy clubs.
A comedy club.
We have places where comedy
do
happens, but no place that is dedicated to stand-up comedy exists. in South
Tanzanians have
Africa.
beat us to it.
Well, the COVID took ours away, and then now they've done it. Let's not say they.
Yours was a proper.
Let's not say they've beat us.
Yours was the closest we got. I mean, Joe Parker had Hurricanes when we were starting out.
Yeah, I remember that.
People don't believe I never ever got to perform at the Cape Town Comedy Club.
What are you saying?
I never got to perform at Joe Mase when it was still there and before the Waterfront.
Before Cape Town
What are
Comedy
you
Club.
saying
Nothing.
to me?
I never got to perform there.
No, Kurt.
What's the reason for
Fix
that?
your life.
Just times never lined up.
Besides not Cat calling and saying, "Can you come?" Other than I wasn't in Cape Town when there was, or I was in Cape Town. I had other gigs and then I would leave.
Yeah.
But he never said, "Come, let's bring you. Let's do this." Right. So, but these are all the things that I said to you guys: paying attention, listening, avoiding noise. Noise comes in a lot of noise comes
forms.
in going to a mall when you have absolutely nothing to do there, or you're
Yeah.
going for window shopping. Like there is
Noise.
absolutely no reason for you to go to a
Noise.
mall. Going to a club
Noise.
because why? The last time I made a decision to go to a nightclub, to stop going. I was at Taboo. I was next to DJ Dimples, DJing, the late DJ Dimples, may he rest in peace.
So crazy.
I started counting how many chapters in a book I was reading I would have read if I hadn't left the house. I got off the stage.
And you were
I
like-
got in my car. I drove home.
I made that decision when I sent somebody to the DJ to say, why does this music have to be so loud? That's when I knew. That's when I knew my time is. I was just like Jason Goliath says, if you can just make it a little bit softer.
Trying to talk.
So Empress Palace, Monsoon Lagoon, when it started out,
I was there those days. Big Brother party days. I used to
VIP
be there.
rooms all had a phone in them, and you can call the DJ. All the VIP booths had a phone, and then there was a phone next to the DJ.
Call Oshoni
You
P.
could call the DJ or talk to the DJ.
Why? Why are you phoning the DJ? It's working.
Let's wrap this up. Uncle Dave, I'm not even going to ask you if you're happy because I think that you've given us so much, but I am going to do
I'm content.
which is I think the right word actually.
Yeah.
Contentment is what we should
Yeah.
be seeking, but we do a Goliath happiness index, and essentially it's 3 questions. You got to rate them 1 to 5. The first is acceptance. In terms of accepting who you are, what you are, where you are, why you are. 1 to 5. The second is gratitude. We believe that, I think
Yeah.
gratitude, one of the roots to happiness, if you can exist in a space of gratitude. And if you do, 1 to 5. And the last is optimism in terms of what the future holds for David Carr.
Yeah.
So, number 1, acceptance, 1
4.
to 5.
4.
4. Why?
Because
4 is high.
Because it's hard. There's levels of accepting how much potential you have and who you really are. It gets a bit scary at some point. So I'm leaving that 1 for
Yes.
even what I think I am and I've accepted I am.
Yes.
I don't think
Yes.
I have an idea of what's coming.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Love that. Gratitude?
I'm still learning, so I'll give it another 4 because I struggle with accepting what people think I have done. So maybe I struggle with gratitude from other people about me.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Which
See?
is, again, people think, some people acknowledge, oh, you've done so much for me. Some don't, that's okay. And some, to me, I think I've only done this much for you, but you think I've done this much for you.
Oof.
That's why it's a 4.
I got you there.
Yeah,
I hear you
that's
there.
why it's a 4. So going back to your circle, the people that you think are going to come to your rescue are not going to be the people that are in your circle now.
No.
They won't.
Well, yeah.
They won't be the people that you expect
100%.
to come to your rescue are not the ones that will. And the people that you never thought would even bother would be the ones that come to your rescue. And then you must accept that. That's a struggle to accept that. Why is this person doing this for me?
It is, why is this person doing this thing for me? Okay. Optimism. How optimistic are you about David Carr in the future? 1 to 5.
I'm getting to a 5. Because the first 2 are very important to get to the optimistic part. So South Africa has been, the joke when you go to Africa or other African countries, you say you are going to Africa and you are South African.
Yes.
Right. And that has put South Africa in a fake or disillusioned, we are not the continent or we are
absolutely.
not like the rest of the continent.
Yeah.
But now we're actually headed there.
Fast and furious.
Yeah. In fact, we've gone backwards and other countries have improved. So that's why I can say to you, from here, we used to think we're going to go to Montreal, we must do gigs in New York, we must go do gigs in the UK.
No.
Meanwhile, Africans thought, I just want to get to South Africa. Or Nigerians just wanted to shoot a music video in South Africa. That's where this country comes from. Right? And I now know for a fact that Africa is ready and waiting. And it may just be the best ride of our lives. Even better than being in the UK.
Of course better.
Or better in the US.
Can I tell you why better? So my feeling is this. My feeling is the whole world knows this. That if you're looking for potential, the first world has been exhausted. They've been exhausted of resources, whether it be mineral or humans.
And talent.
Yeah, 100%. Whereas Africa, the dark continent, is still brimming with potential.
So most of my optimism.
And the reason I'm optimistic is because we don't mine minerals. if you went to school in Belgium to study mining gold, they could drop you off in any area, you test the soil, and the mining would be mining. But when you are mining culture, when you are mining storytelling, I think that it is ripest for us as Africans to go and enjoy the continent, because they don't understand how to extract it from us. They don't understand us. They don't understand us. And I think that is our one advantage of being Africa Light, is we understand.
It's puzzling for me why international comics don't stop in other African countries.
I think it's
for them, most of them now, it's collecting the money.
100%. Those that are onto it, though. So we look at Family Feud. Family Feud have now done Nigeria, Ghana. They've just launched Botswana. I think they're going to do Botswana and Namibia.
Yeah.
And when you speak to Steve Harvey, he has that attitude because he's seen it. That's what I'm saying. He has that attitude because he's seen it. He goes, why are you... And even Steve will say, why do you guys... Because, I mean, Nick is Steve's brah. And Steve always says, why are you guys worried about coming there? We worried about coming here.
Yeah. So my optimism is in the continent and what can still be done.
I like that very much.
And I can tell you now, bro, at least the guys I've met, Eric Lou Sava in Nairobi. I mean, I was there for a week. The guy looked after me for an entire week. The guy has got a system, proper system, that he's running, from the comics that trying to get on stage, trying to perform, the guys we did workshops with, the exchange that they have between Tanzania and, I don't know if you know, they've got this exchange thing that they do where the Tanzanian comedian will come perform in Nairobi and Nairobian comedian will perform. That's why they're both called Punchline Comedy. Punchline Comedy Kenya, Punchline Comedy Tanzania. They've got a network and a system that they've built. And remember, once you're in Kenya, so between Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, you don't need a passport.
Okay. So it's like operate like a European Union.
Yeah. It's like their own little
agreement.
Not even European Union. What's the passport? Schengen. It's like a whole Schengen thing they have going, right? I mean, you're not far from Rwanda once you're there. And then business-wise, all these people are trading together. I mean, you can use your M-Pesa. Your M-Pesa thing goes across the 3 or 4 countries. Yeah. So imagine if e-wallet,
I'm just saying I'm very popular on the continent now. Let's go together. I'm just saying I'm very popular.
I'm going.
On the continent right now.
I'm working on dates. I'm working
more popular than Q Dube.
And Q Dube is killing it.
Yeah. Everywhere. With or without Roland.
Q Dube. You know the thing with Q Dube, it's like a running joke for me. This guy shows up at every Black Song, asks for a spot. And every time I book a Black Song comedy show, I totally forget about this guy. Until I have a full lineup. And then he texts and then I'm like, it's awkward now. But we did a sketch after Will Smith slept, because I did a Zimbabwean joke and then he walks up at Black Song and tries to slap me and whatever. Yeah. It was like a few days, I think, after the incident. Cool guy. But again, people like him, Siasaya for me, it kind of breaks my heart a little. When I was still doing what I wanted to do and what I would probably still do later.
Yeah.
Siasaya would be one of the biggest comedians in this country.
No doubt.
Because he deserves it.
No doubt.
So funny.
He deserves it.
Q.
Q is one of those people that I haven't spent my time.
No, 100%. You haven't spent the time you spent with Skumba.
I haven't spent.
So if anybody wants to question, look at Skumba.
So the time and resources I could spend on Skumba, on tips, on pop, on Sfiso, maybe Pops a little.
Pops a lot.
And I mentioned Mapani. Mapani, tips, Sfiso, Skumba, Pops Sfiso Nene, yeah. But the resources and time I could spend with those guys, I haven't spent.
No, because you would have bought Sia a tooth years ago.
No, that would kill his comedy.
Years ago.
Look, he can push it for a few more years.
I don't even think he needs to. I only make the joke because he's that
We're going to
funny.
do his birthday, I think, in in PE in July. I think, yeah. June,
Nah,
July. Spelling.
I can't agree more. Those are people that are funny in
Yeah.
their bones.
Yeah.
Funny whether you like it or not. Thank you for coming, Braka. We
No,
wish
man,
you
thanks, guys. Thank you very
more
much. I like
happiness,
how you've
more
disguised
clarity.
the bottles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, very obvious.
We
Nobody
have
knows.
no idea what brand
is.
this is.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
But if you can identify this brand, maybe you are this brand and you're looking to donate money
And
to
sponsor the show.
comedians in need. Because you know what makes me happy? Refreshing, delicious water.
Amanzi.
Come on.